The Hell Angel sat alone in the farthest booth of the roadside diner where the neon sign outside buzzed like a dying insect and the windows were fogged with cheap heat and old loneliness, his massive frame folded inward as if he were trying to make himself smaller, which was almost funny considering the way people usually crossed the street when they saw him coming. Leather jacket heavy with patches stitched from decades of miles and mistakes, rings biting into scarred fingers wrapped around a chipped coffee mug that had long gone cold, Christmas Eve pressing down on him harder than any prison wall ever had because this was the night when ghosts came uninvited, when the empty spaces spoke the loudest, when the booth across from him stayed empty no matter how long he stared at it, the memory of laughter once filling it flashing like a cruel trick, his brothers scattered, some locked up, some buried, some lost to roads that never looped back, and the woman he had loved gone long before. He learned how to stay, the bell above the diner door ringing now and then for strangers with somewhere to be, none of them his, until it rang again and this time a single mother stepped in holding the hand of a little girl whose pink coat was too thin and whose boots were damp with melting snow, the woman's eyes scanning the diner with that careful calculation of someone counting every dollar left in her wallet, hesitating when she noticed the biker alone in the booth, fear flickering instinctively because the world had taught her to fear men like him, but the storm outside howled and pushed them forward, the little girl staring openly at the Hell Angel not with fear but fascination, tugging her mother's hand and whispering loudly enough that he heard every word, asking if he was a superhero because he looked sad but strong, the woman flushing red as she apologized softly and guided her daughter toward the nearest empty booth, which happened to be across from his, and for a moment they sat in an awkward silence broken only by clinking silverware and the hum of old heaters, the biker pretending not to notice while noticing everything, the girl swinging her legs and smiling at him like he was something good, something safe, until she spoke again and asked if he was Santa's helper since Santa was probably busy tonight, and the sound that came out of his chest surprised even him, a laugh, rough and rusty from disuse, drawing the attention of the waitress who froze halfway across the room expecting trouble, but instead saw something she'd never seen before, a Hell Angel smiling, the biker clearing his throat and telling the girl maybe he helped with the heavy lifting, the woman finally relaxing just a fraction as she explained they were just warming up because the bus had broken down and home was still miles away, her voice steady but eyes tired in a way only parents who carried everything alone ever looked, and as he listened the biker felt a familiar ache shift into something sharper, something closer to shame, because he had a wallet full of cash from a run he didn't even want to think about and a room waiting for him at a clubhouse filled with noise and beer and empty jokes, while these two had nothing tonight except a flickering diner and a storm, and Christmas Eve suddenly stopped being about what he had lost and started being about what he could still do. Part 2. He raised a hand to the waitress before the woman could finish her sentence and ordered dinner for three like it was the most natural decision in the world, his voice calm but firm, cutting off the woman's polite protests with a look that said this wasn't charity, it was just dinner, and when the food arrived, simple plates of meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and warm bread, the little girl clapped like it was a feast fit for royalty, talking non-stop about school plays and snowmen and how Santa should really switch to motorcycles because reindeer must get tired, and the Hell Angel listened, really listened, answering her questions with stories scrubbed clean of violence, tales of long roads and sunrise rides and finding family where you least expect it, while the woman ate slowly, clearly savoring warmth more than taste, eventually admitting in a quiet voice that her husband had left 2 years ago, that the heat at home had been shut off that morning, that pride had kept her moving until the storm forced her to stop, and something inside the biker finally broke all the way open, not loudly, not dramatically, but enough to let light in, because he knew what it meant to be left, to be cold, to pretend you were fine when you weren't, and when the plates were cleared he slipped his gloves onto the table with folded bills tucked deep inside and told her it was just a loan from Santa's helper, nothing more, insisting even when her eyes filled and her hands trembled as she accepted, and when he stood to leave, leather creaking, preparing to disappear back into the snow where men like him belonged, the little girl slid out of the booth and hugged him with fierce certainty, whispering thank you like it was a spell meant only for him, and as he stepped outside into the storm and fired up his bike, the cold biting hard at his face, he realized his chest felt lighter than it had in years, because somewhere behind him a single mother and her daughter were warm tonight, and for the first time in a long time, the road ahead didn't feel so empty, even for a Hell Angel on Christmas Eve.